Hi, I'm Joshua, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're going to see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom, welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. Glad you could be with us today. My guest today is Norman Siegal, also known as Nesanel Siegal. And he is a philanthropist in the Chicago area. He is the person who runs the Kehillah Educational Fund. He is involved and runs the A.F.T.A organization, one of the chairmen of A.F.T.A. He is involved in many educational funding projects in the Chicago area and essentially involved in the Foundation for Learning and Development in the Chicago area. And Nesanel, welcome to the show. And how are you today?
Thank God well. Thank you.
Good. Baruch Hashem, very nice. I think that it's important, and the reason that we're here today is to talk about education funding, about what the Kehilla Fund is, and about learning and development and the different opportunities that are out there along with that, as well as what the Jewish community is provided with by the A.F.T.A organization. Let me start with the mother organization, A.F.T.A, Association for Torah Advancement. Now, A.F.T.A is not a strictly Chicago organization.
It is.
Is there not an A.F.T.A in other cities also?
There may have been something in Baltimore, but it's a Chicago organization.
So now it is strictly a Chicago organization.
As far as I know.
Okay, and so tell me about A.F.T.A and what they do. For example, I know one of the big things that A.F.T.A sponsors and supports is the Shatnez Testing Center. And this is one of the laws of the Torah, one of the laws in the Bible, where a person who is Jewish, a male, is not allowed to wear clothes that has interwoven linen and wool threads together. It's what we call a chok by Jewish law. A chok is a law that has no explanation. It's just a law given by God in the Torah, in the Bible, and Jewish people follow it very strictly. And the A.F.T.A Shatnez Testing Center actually takes people's suit jackets, winter coats, and so on and so forth, wool clothing especially, or linen clothing, and actually tests them chemically, I believe, isn't it? To make sure that there's no linen interwoven with it or no wool interwoven with the linen. How is it actually done?
I'll tell you, we have people that are trained by a organization out in Lakewood, and it's an extensive training, and they come back. It's really there may be some chemical, but it's mainly by sight using the microscope.
They can tell by microscopic fibers.
Correct.
Now, the main place that linen is found in wool suits is in the collar, the back of the collar. If I can show the back of my collar, the lining in the back of a collar is often has linen in it.
That's right.
And so they actually, when they do this, at the customer's request, will remove the linen and replace the lining with a different fabric to make it allowed to be worn. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Just amazing, just amazing. What else does A.F.T.A do?
I'll tell you, first, A.F.T.A is an organization that was started in the 50s. It was the time that there were not many organizations that helped the Orthodox community, that helped in a Jew live a Torah life. We were having at that time problems in getting jobs, since Shabbos was a problem. It started a service for those people, where a legal service to help them in those job-seeking opportunities. It started the Ark. It started Keshet, which is a special ed school. It was an organization that looked for the needs of the Orthodox community, or let's not say Orthodox, let's say the Torah, those that wanted to be a Torah observant community, and made sure that those organizations, those projects were in place. And they were not necessarily interested in doing it themselves, but they wanted to make sure that these things existed and were working well. They helped mikveh observance. They were involved in a number of Chalav Yisrael. They brought that in. Over time, many of these things took off on their own. Something more recent is Chovev, which is a foster parenting need that the Jewish community had.
It became an independent organization.
It became an independent organization, and recently, Baruch Hashem, it is dissolved.
Right.
Why? Because
the Federation
we're able to
also.
we worked in conjunction with JCB, which is now JCFS, the Jewish Child and Family Service, working together with them, and have a
kind of absorbed
service
all of its services through the Jewish Federation.
Which we're very happy about.
Very nice. Well, I want to talk a little bit about you because you shared a number of things with me before the show. You grew up in Chicago. You went to Erie Crown Hebrew Day School, which was at one time in Albany Park and now is in Skokie. And you went to the Fossman Yeshiva High School, the Skokie Yeshiva, Hebrew Theological College. You went to Yeshiva Keren B'Yavne. You're a Zionist. It's a Zionist yeshiva. And when you came back to the States, you continued studying and got your BS in accounting at U of I, and you got your CPA in 1980. You practiced as a CPA until the year 2000, and you started working for Dr. Yosef Walder, who is the owner of Integrated DNA Technologies, also known as IDT, which is a wonderful organization and company, which does much more than what they do as a company. And in 2003, Dr. Walder asked you to start this project, which became the Kehillah Jewish Education Fund, which I mentioned earlier. Now, this fund, which you're going to tell us about, revolutionized Jewish educational funding. It's not where people pay tuition to schools and the money is used for students. These are people who come along and help fund other people in schools, but not directly to the people who are paying tuition. It actually has helped schools keep their tuition down by money being donated every month to these schools from hundreds and hundreds of people. Now, you have 11 children, which is amazing. You and your wife, Chaya, who is just an amazing lady in herself. And all your kids are in or have gone through the Jewish day school system. And of course, I'm sure, as you know, with 11 children, if you had to pay full tuition for each of those children, you'd be collecting welfare. You'd be collecting welfare. That's because we could never make enough money to do that. So this Kehillah Fund that got started, how did the idea of a fund which actually debits people's accounts or has a monthly
charge to their credit card?
Right. How did something like that idea come along, and how do the funds get split up? How does it all work?
Okay, the fund. The fund gets. We needed a way to come up with a sustainable funding for the schools. Dr. Walder is a fellow that when it comes to his charity, he is very careful, and he has himself monthly amounts that he gives away. So I had to come up with a way that was going to be efficient, inexpensive to work out, and bring those monies in. So after some time, when it became doable, we set up with several vendors to be able to charge and both charge a credit card to make it easy for people to pay, and similarly to E.F.T., electronic fund transfer, again, to make it simple, an easy thing that you don't have to think about.
So people have come along and said, I want to fund Jewish education in the Chicago area. So I might be paying tuition for my children, but I want to do something additional for other children in the area, for other schools as well, or for my school as well, which I guess it's all part of it. And they say, so why don't you take my credit card, my checkbook, whatever it is, electronic transfer, and every month take out $5, or every month take out $100, every month take out $500, whatever it is, and these people get debited, and then you have this collection of funds from hundreds and hundreds of people.
Right, and what we do is there's about 2,400 children in the system. So if there was a school that was, let's say, the size of 240, 10% of that population, they would get 10% of the funds that are collected that month.
So penny for penny, it gets split up by the amount of students that are in
That's
the school
correct.
that it's helping.
That's correct.
Out of these 2,400 children. So if you collect $24,000, then they would get $1,000 per child if there were 240 children, right?
200. This is monthly.
Right. I'm saying monthly, but I'm saying that would be a monthly payout. So it actually comes where it splits up between the schools. Each school gets
So
by
for
the amount of
instance,
people.
right now, Baruch Hashem, we're nearly at 1,100 people that are part of this giving program, and we take in about $50,000 a month, and minus a little bit of expenses, we give out right now $46,000 a month.
Split up, and the
And
schools
then
get
we
it by how
split
many
up
kids?
By the amount of children, that's right.
Wow. So it has, in effect, afforded some schools not only some extra educational
It has afforded
abilities, but for them to keep their tuitions down.
It has afforded a number of things. As far as what it's afforded in terms of the tuition is to minimize the raises.
Right.
The raises are going to come.
Sure.
It's just a matter of how much are they going to be. And without this extra nearly $600,000 that's being into the system, there's no doubt those monies would have to be coming from somewhere, and it would be coming from an increase in tuition.
And the average full day school tuition in Chicago average is $10,000 or more per student. So that would mean that it could make a big chunk into the school's needs and expenses, absolutely.
It makes, at the moment, we are, after the subsidy that the Jewish Federation gives, we are the second largest contributor to the schools.
Wow. And the schools can use the funds any way they find needed?
Yes, that is the case. We figure that for us to micromanage any school would be totally incorrect, inappropriate, and what the schools have told us that they are using the monies for are to some scholarships for children that really would not have gotten into the system at all had it not be for these funds. It's used for resource rooms. It's used to be able to reduce the amount, increase the amount of teachers per classroom.
Right, teacher aides and so on and so forth.
Yes, a lot of different uses that they've been.
Wonderful.
It's been helpful.
Wonderful.
For them.
Well, we're here on Taped with Rabbi Doug, and I am here with Nesanel Siegal, who is from A.F.T.A, from the Kehillah Educational Fund, and from the Foundation for Learning and Development, and we'll be right back.
We fund all of the elementary schools. It's an entire community effort, and the achdus that brings is one of the real important benefits of the Kehillah Fund.
Kehillah Fund is a godsend for our school, and I'm sure for all the schools in the city. It allows us to do many things that we would not otherwise be able to do without the resources that the Kehillah Fund provides to us.
One school told me that the scholarships that they're giving out right now, they literally would not be accepting these children had it not been for Kehillah Fund. Other schools are using it simply to cover payroll. One school has hired someone that takes children out, both where the children are having problems and helping them out in those problems, and children which are so ahead that they're bored in class, giving them enrichment so that they can move ahead and are not hampered by the pace that the class is going in.
One of the big things that we use the money for is to provide a second pair of hands in all of our lower grade classrooms, grades 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have an aide in the class, which in those developmentally important years is really terrific.
Chicago has gathered together under the banner of the Kehillah Fund to support all the children in all the day schools who wish to receive a Torah education.
Kol Yisrael Arevim Zel Zeh, meaning that we are all responsible for each other. And while many of us have children in each of the day schools, and it's important for us to support those day schools, the Kehillah Fund has given us the opportunity to stand shoulder to shoulder with one another and express our support not only for each individual school, but for all schools and Jewish education as a whole.
I'm Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
Welcome back. We're here on Taped with Rabbi Doug, and I'm here with Norman Siegal, Nesanel Siegal. He is here talking about Jewish education in Chicago, and I really want to know, we've talked a little bit about A.F.T.A, the Kehilla Fund. Tell us about the Foundation for Learning and Development and the Learning Center, and what is that all about, and how is that connected to IDT and Nesanel Siegal?
Okay. Dr. Walder, the owner of the Integrated DNA Technologies, started a foundation, this Foundation for Learning and Development, a number of years ago. And what he was trying to do is create, it had several purposes. One is to allow teachers to be the best that they can be and give them all the resources they need to do that. Because by giving the teachers our resources, we are then helping the students. And that's the bottom line. We want the best education. So that was one aspect. A big aspect. That's the Teacher Resource Center that you're talking about. Then Dr. Walder, being a scientist and being very interested that children have the ability to go out and get into those fields, where, as we know, many of our of Jewish children, you think of lawyers and doctors, but you don't hear too many people getting into the sciences. He has an aspect where he's trying to encourage science learning.
Now, is this Super Science
and
Sunday with Heshy
Super Science
Weiner?
Sunday is part of that program. And
that's at the Wi-Fi building where IDT is located.
That is correct. And they have other programs, all science related.
I have to tell our audience about the Wi-Fi building a little bit. The Wi-Fi building is an amazing place. Not only do you have IDT, but a number of other Jewish-owned businesses and non-Jewish-owned businesses in there.
Nearly all
right,
Jewish-owned businesses.
Okay, mostly. And in there is a kosher deli and restaurant. In there is a synagogue that has morning, afternoon, evening services every day. Jewish learning, yeshiva learning sessions take place in this synagogue and learning center. And this is while people are at work. They take off time. Oh, it's 1:35. Everybody into the synagogue for mincha. All the offices close. Everybody comes into daven. And then everybody goes back to work. It's just an amazing, amazing place. And this is all mainly Dr. Walder's doing. Is that right?
No.
This is not. This is the Wi-Fi only builder?
This is the Wi-Fi owners. That's correct.
Owners, really. Just amazing. Dr. Walder, of course, he sponsors a lot of the learning and stuff that goes on there, though, right?
He may sponsor some of it.
So, what is going on there now? What is special going on in Wi-Fi with IDT and the Learning Center? What now can people from the outside, if I want to go and see the Learning Center or come and take a look, certainly people off the street could come and go to the deli there and buy kosher food. Certainly people could come in and daven there for services, which take place only on weekdays because the building is closed on Shabbos. Is that not correct?
Yes, correct.
The building is closed on Shabbos. What else is there that's of interest for people who come in for the Learning Center?
In the Learning Center, they can come in and get curriculums on nearly any subject they want, whether it is Talmud, whether it is how to teach Tanakh, Chumash, lower grades, upper grades, you name it. And if very often teachers are not that computer oriented, we teach them
computer.
We teach them computer and those type of programs that will help them in their teaching skills.
Now there are actually, I know this for a fact because teachers who I've worked with have actually gone there. They actually do teacher training sessions. They take teachers out of the Jewish day schools and they will take one or two teachers at a time for a session, and they'll do special training with these teachers for development of their teaching skills in their classes to enhance what they're doing in their classrooms. It's just an amazing thing. And are there full-time experts, master teachers in there who are running the Learning Center?
Ruchama Gorelik is the director, and she is a master teacher. She was a supervisor for the Associated Talmud Torahs, and she ran for years the Consolidated High School, if I'm not mistaken.
And she did do that. She ran the Consolidated High School.
She is a master
She was
teacher
also a
herself.
principal at Maine Township for years before that.
And I think that she was also over at Anshe Emet for a while.
Really? She has been around in her education.
She's a real master teacher.
So Ruchama is running it. Very, very interesting. So there's a staff there besides her also?
Oh, yes. And then there's another aspect of the foundation, which is where it relates to the Kehilla Fund. The foundation is also interested in coming up with funding sources, innovative funding sources for Jewish education, and that's where it dovetails with Kehilla Fund. It was the foundation that helped us get off the floor.
Let me ask you a question. Here's a question. Now, we've had on the show someone you know well, George Haynes, who was on the show and told us about the 5% that people should leave in their wills for Jewish education, so there will be an endowment for the future of Jewish education. How does that 5% endowment that people are leaving for Jewish education with this fund that he set up, and I think it's working in conjunction with the Jewish Federation also, how does that fund, now that money is not being used at all until it reaches its goal. Is that correct? And the money that you're getting goes right out right away. That 5% that's building from people's wills is building up to an amount that the interest eventually will be used for Jewish education when it reaches its goal. In your case, the funds actually go out every month from Kehilla. It's not something that's building up and getting interest. Is that correct?
What's correct is that indeed our funds, they come in, they go right out.
They go right out. Very interesting. So how does the connection between the Learning Center and the Kehilla Fund
There is
work?
no connection
There is no
between
connection.
the two.
So they don't have a connection. But they're all part of Dr. Walder's scheme and goals.
What he was interested with the foundation's relationship with us was that it helped us get off the ground. And as we've matured, Kehilla will now be on its own. But we would never have been able to start without it. And the foundation is interested in doing other initiatives as they see fit.
So he's kind of been the fuel to start the fire, and once
That's
the fire
right.
is going,
to try and wean it to become an independent, sustainable organization. And that's why we designed the funding so it could be sustainable. When we have 1,000 people giving
every month.
No, not 1,000 every month, but there are about 800 every month that are giving. The other several hundred are people that...
Donors.
Right, they give it on an annual basis. But what that does is with that broad base, you lose somebody, it doesn't kill the fund. You have a sustainable, reliable source of funding.
And the schools know that they're going to be getting something.
And the schools know, and they're looking forward to it.
So
every
the more
month.
students and the more they're going to get.
That's
the more
right.
students they have, the more they're going to get.
Right.
It's just an amazing thing. Tell me how you yourself, Nesanel Siegal, how did you get involved in, we mentioned all your children and going through the day school system. Was this something that was in the back of your mind as a goal to be involved with somehow to fund Jewish education because of your own personal struggles to do it for your own children?
Everything you're saying is true. I do have that. The way it happened, though, was real mazel. It's everything is you got to be in the right place at the right time. I've been involved in A.F.T.A. since I myself was a recipient of A.F.T.A. when I was a child in Erie Crown and in the yeshiva.
A.F.T.A. still does the Bible tests and everything?
No, that was from that time.
Back when we were kids. Okay.
When I got married and moved back to Chicago, I decided to get involved in A.F.T.A. since it's an organization that has no political swayings one way or the other. It's Jews across the board. And I've been involved since then. At that time, I had my own practice, accounting practice. in the year 2000, when I started working for Dr. Walder, and he had his interests in doing something for Jewish education, since he saw what stirred him initially is because he felt he has two children at the time in the system, and he wasn't getting the kind of secular education that he wanted.
Along
Here's
with
a
the Jewish
scientist.
education, he wanted it to be on the par, a high level of
Right.
education in the Jewish day schools, as he would expect to have in a secular,
Right.
high-performing school.
And in talking with the principals, they had said that they'd love to, but they are in such a financial straits that they just can't. That's not something that at the moment is on their radar.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to get it on the radar, and we are working in that direction. A very strong secular education is definitely something that interested in, and an excellent Jewish education, and teachers that have all had good pedagogical background, and we're trying to accomplish all of that. It takes time. I'm not perfect. The system isn't perfect. It takes time.
So the idea of the Learning Center is that the teachers who are there already should become better teachers,
The
best that they can be,
and give them all the tools that we can give them.
Exactly, and thus the level of possibilities in education in the Jewish day schools by each of these teachers going through programs and studying there and learning new
Right.
methods to teach will improve all the way around.
Right. An exciting thing in my mind that's going to be starting real soon is a mentoring program for teachers. Where there's we have
master teachers
we're working with teachers that have been in the system for a while already, teachers that are good teachers, just want to be better, and working together with the Associated Talmud Torahs, great people there, Chani Friedman, wonderful organized lady, and working with National Louis University, who is going to be the mentors for our teachers.
Wow.
And I'm really looking forward. It's going to be an exciting program.
Well, I already know about teacher mentoring going on in the Jewish day schools, that during the summer, teachers are mentoring, elementary teachers are mentoring with high school master teachers and so on to help them bring up their curriculum levels in their schools. So this just sounds wonderful because you're talking about university teachers doing the same as mentors. What a great thing. Well, I want to just wish you much success with the Kehillah Fund, with the Foundation for Learning and Development, with A.F.T.A. and all their endeavors. And I want to thank you, Norman Siegal, Nesanel Siegal. You are just an amazing person, and I wish you much success and hatzlacha in all your endeavors for Jewish education and for the Jewish community. And I want to thank all of you for being with us. Remember, you can check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also watch our show on the web. And if you have any questions about Kehillah, about the foundation, about A.F.T.A., you can certainly email them to me at info@tvrabbi.com, and I'll be happy to forward them on to Nesanel Siegal, and I'm sure he'll get back to you. I want to thank you for being with us. Remember, we're on every week at this time, so hope to see you next time right here on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Shalom, everyone.
And I'm talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug on your TV show. Well, he's the rabbi for me. Anytime you need, you're gonna get married or you're gonna die. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.